Hello and welcome back to more Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. War last episode, we uncovered so many details about this case, and I think I finally know what it is that happened. The game hasn't alluded to it yet, but I am almost 100% positive that the reason why Elena has been so determined to say that she murdered Bruce Goodman, even though we know she didn't, is because she is protecting her sister, who may or may not have murdered Jake Marshall, as evident by her fingerprints, which were on the cloth. So that's my theory. Now we're going to see if we can prove it today on February 25th, 9:47 a.m. District Court for Defendant Lobby number 2. This is the defendant lobby, alright? But there's no defendant. I've been trying to reach Lena all morning. Where could she be? And where's Emma, for that matter? It almost seems as if... I'm gonna go with Edgeworth. Something's been happening behind the scenes. Yep, I was right. Edgeworth. Knowing you, you've already figured it out. Who the owner of the 7777777 ID number is, that is. Well, I have a pretty strong hunch. Looks like I'm not the only one who's figured it out. You know, the only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there was still room for doubt regarding this ID record. If that number does belong to whom you suspect, then no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. True. Not yet. In any event, once all doubt has been removed from that list, I can call for a ruling. 5 minutes, right? And Chief Prosecutor Skye will be found guilty. But she didn't do it! I figured you'd say as much. That's why I came here, to hear what you have to say. This is the first time we've ever done something like this. Lena's hiding something, and the only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her. The truth? Everything goes back to the S9 incident. Don't be stupid, today's the last day of the trial. We don't have time to reminisce about the past. That depends on you. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened. I'll think about it. See you in court, right? This case is doing a lot more. These past two cases spent a lot of time on Edgeworth, because last time we learned about what makes Edgeworth tick, and then this is more about fleshing out his last time was about the past, now this is about the present, and how he's coping with the allegations about forged evidence, which has been alluded to since the start of the game. So, I like what they're doing with this. This is good. This is it. If I'm ever going to find out what Chief Gann has on her, it's now. February 25th, 10 o'clock a.m., District Court, courtroom number 9. Here goes nothing, I suppose. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Elena Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Normally, this is when the prosecution puts forth its opening statement. But before that, the police chief has a proposal to make. Chief Gant. Okay. Interesting. Morning, folks. How's everyone doing? Hey, Unji, been back to the pool yet? No, I've been drowning enough as it is in my work. Oh, that's a good one. Don't think I can cut. I don't know why I don't know why I find it funny whenever I say that's a good one in this voice. If you don't mind me asking, Chief, what exactly is this proposal of yours? Lena, that is to say, the defendant, has asked me if she could speak directly to the court. She wants to do what? Having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted to... Is she gonna confess? In the end, she said everyone a lot of time in trouble. She already confessed, but if she's gonna confess again... What's this all about, defendant? I'd just like to make one simple request and I'll be finished. Well then, what's your request? Your Honor, I'd like you to put an immediate end to this trial. Huh? I confess to all charges against me. On February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman in the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office. No, Lena! You can't! Your Honor, the defendant's claim does not change the defense's plea. In that case, Mr. Wright, I no longer require your services. But Lena! Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. I would like you to render your verdict now, if you please. Can you not? Well, the defendant certainly has the right to self-representation. Her request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there's no further need to continue this trial, even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise. This can't be happening! It appears that... I didn't even get to finish reading that. Edgeworth! One moment, Your Honor. Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature. Come now, Worthy. I understand this is a difficult time for you, but why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut, Come on, Edgeworth. I don't think I care for your tone, Chief Count. Oh, get him! Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes. Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be. With this sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes. Some kind of deal, Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy. I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness. Oh, to whom? As its first witness, the prosecution would like to— Yup, he's figured it out. He's figured it out too. I request the court hear your testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, I am exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to continue. I don't care what you think, Miss Sky. The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it. Very well. The court shall grant the prosecution's request. That okay with you, right, Chief Gant? Worthy, you'll live to regret this. Mark my words. Miss Emma Sky, please take the stand. He knows. Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins. He knows. There's no way he doesn't know. He is fully aware of everything I said yesterday. He knows. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation. My name is Emma Sky. My occupation? I'm Lena's little sister and I want to be a scientific investigator. 2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Doc, one of the Joe Doc killings. Is this correct? Yes, I'm trying my hardest to forget about that though. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to recall those events one more time. Mr. Edgeworth, please remember the trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant? Yes, it most certainly is. Well, okay then. You sure gave in fast. Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago. The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial. Okay, here we go. The final showdown. Let's do it. I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in, took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me, but I'll never forget what I saw in this, and we're definitely gonna ask more about that. I'm gonna need some more specifics there, buddy. I'm gonna need a lot more specifics than that. It's a good thing you weren't harmed. I passed out, but I don't remember much. That's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder? That will soon become apparent, Your Honor. You've got to admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence. Very well. The defense may begin its cross-examination. Cross-examination 2 years ago. Okay. So let's go here. Again, no contradictions, so we're just gonna find out as much information as we can. Can you tell us about that? Mr. Marshall jumped on dark. Just then, the lights went out. The lights? It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on, and lightning struck nearby. So the electricity went out? Wait a minute. If it was pitch dark in that room, you shouldn't have been able to see anything, right? Right, but just then lightning flashed again outside. That sudden flash left an unforgettable image of the scene in my mind. I see. I told the detective about what I saw then. The detective? Yes, Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case. Detective Bruce Goodman, the victim. Hear more. So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago? Yes, that's what's so scary about this trial. And you told Detective Goodman about what you saw? Yes, but at the time, the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture. A picture? Yes, I think she mentioned that before. Well, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough? No, I'm gonna ask about the freaking picture. This picture the witness drew. I believe it has a very important meaning. But the list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture. Wait a second, let me check something. This of evidence you 2 years didn't contain a picture, but... Does mine? Oh, get it? Because he only has half of it. He only has half of the evidence. Or half of the evidence list. Oh, there we go. The truth is coming out. Would you mind if we added the statement to your testimony? Yes, Your Honor. I drew a picture of that scene, but nope, it's not lost. I have it right here. Mr. Edgeworth, this little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture. And yet, you would insist on denying its existence? Huh? Hey, I'm not the bad guy. All I'm saying is that, as the prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such a picture. That may well be. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold! This is the evidence list for the SL9 incident. Please turn it over, Your Honor. Turn it over? Oh, what's this? Yes, what is that? Hey, that's it, that's the picture I drew. Indeed. Two men appear to be wrestling here. What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list? Me? Only the prosecutor in charge should have access to that list. Huh? These lists. They're different from each other. What? It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These two lists fit together to form one. You can see the marks here, where they return apart from each other. So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, only half of the evidence in that case ever reached you. What? What? Order! Order! But Miss Sky, why did you draw your picture on the back of such an important list? Because that's what Detective Goodman handed me in the questioning room, Your Honor. Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, then that means... Your Honor! Are you alright, Mr. Wright? Your eyes are bulging from your head. If the evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more of the drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list. Yes, that's quite conceivable. Mr. Edgeworth, it's possible. That's... Is something wrong? Do you even have to ask? Sorry, Your Honor. There was indeed something drawn on the back of my list. It's that thing. The blue badger. That thing was dancing in the evidence room. Clearly, this act of vandalism is the work of a certain chief of detectives. I guess he was out of scrap paper. Evidence list was stored and updated in the court record. So now we can look at the full picture. Will you please specify? Okay. Hold on, let me look at the full picture. That's really strange. Why would that be there? Okay. Oh yes, Your Honor. What's wrong with Emma? She seemed to be thinking about something when she was looking at that picture. Emma's picture. Yeah, so the other thing about the picture, if I can look at it really quickly. No, I didn't want to skip past that. I mean, okay, no, I was gonna show it anyway. So, the flash of lightning was so bright that all I could see was shadows. The thing, well, this doesn't show the part that I wanted to show you. And am I gonna be allowed to check this? I am, okay. It shows the actual murder, which, by the way, doesn't even look like he's holding a knife. It looks like he's holding, like, a freaking piece of wood, because it's not sharp in the slightest. That's upright, and then she tilted it to draw the blue badger's head. Why was the blue badger's head inside the chief's room, and why was it sideways? After that, I must have fainted. This picture is exactly what I saw in that instant. To think a flash of lightning could burn such an image in your mind. Thanks to that, though, she was able to show us exactly what she saw. Well, I don't see any contradictions here. This clearly shows Joe Dark about to murder Prosecutor Neil Marshall. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. Wait. Okay, so... Here's the thing. If we are to believe that this is a perfect representation of what she saw, which I'm willing to believe, I find it unlikely that she would have drawn the knife without the tip unless there was a reason. Like, she would have drawn the knife, a pointed knife, right? But, hold on, let me look at the autopsy report one more time. Stabbed in the back, cause of death, single stab wound, pierce, heart, lung. Weapon found in wound was missing tip. So, he was only stabbed once, but how is that possible? Like, how is it possible for it to have, for the weapon to have broken? Okay, so a piece of the weapon was found in the body, but it was already broken. According to the picture, it was already broken before he was stabbed. That doesn't make any sense at all. Hold on, let me go on to where he said picture. Are you sure that's exactly what you saw? Because this seems to suggest otherwise. Because it's flat. It's not sharp. So I'm doing a horrible job of explaining this, but so in this situation, the knife already doesn't have a tip, right? Swings down and then pulls back out. The tip of the knife would have broken. In the situation that we believe, not based on this picture, is the knife was intact, stabbed once, pulled out, the knife was left behind. But according to this picture, the knife was already broken. So, something doesn't sit right there. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture the witness drew contains a blatant contradiction. What? But I still remember it like it was just yesterday. Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply point out this contradiction for us. What part of the picture contradicts the autopsy report? This, the tip of the knife. The contradiction, of course, lies here. Take a look at the knife the man is holding. If you look closely, you can see its tip is broken. Even I don't have to look closely to see that, Mr. Wright. But Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon? Its tip is broken too. If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body. It was a conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Dark was the murderer. I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma. And where, pray tell, could you possibly see a problem? It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. If the victim was only stabbed once, then the murder weapon should not yet be broken! What's the meaning of this? Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand. Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there. Yep, that's exactly what I said. That's right, but what does this mean? The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is the witness's memory is mistaken. That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at the time, but she was sure she remembered correctly. But there's no other way to explain its inconsistency. Unless it wasn't the murder weapon. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already about a little something called falsified evidence? You're treading on thin ice, right? All I'm saying is that this broken knife tip might be the piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny the possibility. No. Order! 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 Are you saying this investigation really was corrupted, Your Honor? Please allow me to once again go over all the events that took place the day of the murder. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. After receiving the King of Prosecutors Award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark along with Damon Gant. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Dark. It is my belief that somewhere in this story, there is a lie. I'm not lying. The man really was holding up a broken knife. If that's true, then there's no other way around it. This could not have been the murder weapon. There must have been another broken knife. What are the chances of there being two broken knives? Another broken knife besides Joe Dark's. Could there have been one? What would the broken knife have been? Like, actually, what would the broken knife have... No! No, there's no way. Okay. We never got an explanation for why the prosecutor's trophy, the halberd, was removed at Gant's behest, giving it its current form. The only reason why that would be the case is if, remember, if we go back, it's broken, right? It's broken! It's broken! The knife is... The halberd is broken! That's so smart. Oh my god. That's why the trophy's different. That's the murder weapon that was used. Holy hell, that is so smart. If the witness is this adamant about the accuracy of what she saw, it can't just be explained away by a simple observational error. Mr. Wright. In that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife. I assume, then, that you have some other information about this other broken knife? If so, please feel free to enlighten us. The murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Take a look at this! The answer. Neil Marshall was awarded the King of Prosecutors that day, and as an award, he was given this broken shield and knife. When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in this dangerous situation. But that can't be. Oh? And why not, Mr. Edgeworth? Because if the King of Prosecutors' award knife was the murder weapon, then the murderer and the victim would be reversed. What do you mean? I mean, this man raising a knife would have been Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Oh. Oh! Well, the prosecutor was the one who actually died. That's true. What's going on here? It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions. Wait, I remember now. I remember everything. Witness? Mr. Edgeworth. What is it? Could you show me your evidence list again, please? His list? The one with that picture scribbled on the back? I knew it! This picture. I'm the one who drew. Yes, we knew that. What? You drew that? Yeah, I'm pretty. Didn't we know that? That's right. The list wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture. Yeah, I thought we knew that. I thought we already knew that. Was that not already made clear? All this time I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part away deep inside me. Perhaps it would be best if we added this to the witness's testimony. Would you please tell us what you've recalled, Miss Skye? Yes, Your Honor. First the knife mix-up and now the blue badger. This should be interesting. Yeah, I'd love to know how the blue badger has freaking anything to do with this. When I saw that man raise his knife, I panicked and rushed toward both of them. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then there was another flash of lightning and that's when I saw the blue badger. He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his... Oh wow, my words. I'm sure I saw his shadow. This is certainly most unusual. Try impossible. The chief of detectives hadn't even designed him up until this year. That wouldn't mean he didn't even exist 2 years ago. Yes, well, the defense may— Oh. Stop, please. Don't pursue this. Oh, she knows! She knows we're about to figure it out. We're so close. We're about to figure it out. I think I'm right. I think I was right. I think I was totally right when I said that Emma was actually the one. Okay. She said that she pushed Neil Marshall away. Please don't pursue this any further. Lena, what's the meaning of this? Please remain seated in the defendant's chair. But you can't do this. I've already confessed to the crime. Why can't you just leave it at that? Because we're so close to the truth. Chief Prosecutor Skye. We've already come this far. It's too late to turn back. Silence! The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant. It seems we're finally getting to the core of the matter. Okay. But as far as the test... Okay, so whatever she saw could not possibly have been the blue badger. So what do we have? Oh! Oh, it's the thing! No, stop. No, it's the thing. It's this. Right? It's got the ears in the thing. And wait, okay, so if we turn this around, it looks exactly like it. It looks exactly freaking like it. It looks exactly freaking like it. That's what she saw. That's what she saw. It has to be. Right? Where is it? Wasn't in the room. Okay. It's gotta be this. It's gotta be this. The mysterious blue badger was in fact this. But that's... I believe it's some sort of jar. But Mr. Wright, it doesn't look anything like a blue badger. Indeed it doesn't. As it stands now, it's just a plain jar. However, what if we were to change our viewpoint? Our viewpoint? I've got to show them the correct angle to look at this from. Oh, this is gonna be some precise... Okay. Rotate it around. Because that's gonna be on top, and then if I put it like this... That looks... kinda right. Maybe? Well, is this a miracle or what? Yup. Holy hell. This is so smart. No one can possibly deny this jar's resemblance to the... And the thing is, it was such a random looking jar. But to think it had this level, like, it went this deep, is incredible. No. It can't be! Order! Order! The defense has proven its claim. The mysterious Blue Badger witness on the day of the crime was actually this. Although we all enjoyed Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains. What's your point? What do you mean? So that badger thing was actually just a jar. That doesn't change anything. I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, this changes everything. Indeed? Very well then, please tell us. What's different now that we know the witness saw it changes... Where did this take place? Stand back, okay. Assessment, date and time of death. I need to know what side of the office. You know, I'm gonna take a guess. Because if we look here, I'm gonna say it's probably the location. Is what we can prove. Because wherever the murder happened probably isn't the same place as where that jar was. That's what I'm gonna go with. Allow me to take these in turn. At the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar. At a very specific angle, I might add, Mr. Wright. Yes, well, knowing this, where could she have seen this jar? Where? The location of the jar is shown in the picture taken on the day of the crime. It's on a shelf in the office of Damon Gant. Oh, and she said she was waiting on the other side, waiting on Lena's side of the office. Well, the body was found lying near Lena Sky's desk. The witness testified so herself. Yes, and it is these two facts that reveal what actually transpired. You see, the struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Lena Sky's office. It happened on the other side of the room in Chief Gant's office. Are you implying the murderer moved the victim's body from Damon Gant's office to the Lena Sky's office? Yes. Why would he do that? There's no reason. Exactly. If there wasn't a reason, he wouldn't have gone through the trouble. The only logical conclusion is that there was a reason. Do you know what that reason was, Mr. Wright? I've finally figured it out. So this is why Lena tried to stop the trial. It's too late to quit now, though. Please recall the witness's testimony. She said she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife. In the next instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now tell me, what could have sent the jar flying? That would have to have been the impact the man made when he was knocked into the wall? Ladies and gentlemen, if I may draw your attention to this picture once more. If the man was knocked in the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, what would he have hit? Ah! The suit of armor, holding a very yup! Ah! I called it! I called it too! Oh my god! Holy hell! I was so right! I was so right, it was Emma! It was Emma! And her handprint, you know what? The handprint must have been, like, the cloth must have been a piece of one of their clothing. She shoved him, and her hand made an impact, and he went flying across the room. The suit of armor impaled him in the back. So then Chief Gant saw that and tried and used it as leverage for Lena. I figured it out. I figured it out so early too. Oh my god, I'm so happy with that. That's so freaking clever. Yes. And since the man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, he would had to have been Neil Marshall, wielding the King of Prosecutors trophy. No, Miss Wright, you can't be thinking. Yes, there is another possibility of what actually transpired in that room. Another possibility? Of course the perpetrator would have had no idea, but nevertheless. I don't know if I can go through with this. Mr. Wright, what's the matter? If events took place as the defense theorizes, then the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming the man Emma Sky knocked away was actually Prosecutor Neil Marshall, I'm sorry it had to come out like this, Emma. But my job was to uncover the truth, and that's exactly what I did. You mean Mr. Marshall died because of me? No! I never imagined her testimony would lead to this. So it was the witness who took the victim's life, and then proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented. What? What are you saying? I'm sorry, Miss Sky, but given the circumstances, Joe Dark murdered Prosecutor Marshall. How can you think it was Emma? How dare you try to pin this crime on her? Imagine that coming from you. Oh, toasted. Toasted by Mr. Edgeworth. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out about what Emma did, wasn't it? I assure you, Mr. Edgeworth, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're going to have proof. Tell me, do you have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister killed Neil Marshall? Evidence? I'm willing to bet you don't. Yes, it certainly would be difficult to prove this with evidence. If we don't have evidence, then we'll have to rely on testimony. I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead. We certainly can't get dead people to testify. This has all been a wild goose chase from the beginning. Touché, Miss Sky. Of course. That only leaves us with one possibility. You mean there's still another possibility? What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? I mean the possibility that the victim has left us a message. For better or for worse, Miss Marshall did not die instantly. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life, in one manner or another. That's impossible. Well, Mr. Wright, this is the only possibility left to you. A message from the deceased. Does such a message exist? I've got to think back to the court record. The real murderer's name that the victim left. Okay. Oh, we gotta think. There's gotta be. We must have something. I'm thinking of the stuff that was in the safe, because if that exists, it would have had to either be on the cloth or on the jar, right? Because either of those two things, those two things specifically, are what Gant kept in his safe, with the express purpose of using them as leverage against Emma, like using them to help persuade Lena into doing his dirty work for him. So, wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. The one piece of this that he had in his office had a clear red line, but the rest of it is all just red dots. Oh, sh**. There's no, okay, wait, I need to make sure of this. I'm gonna go up to the TV. Yo, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. Okay, alright. I don't know if this is just pure accident or not, or if I'm just looking way too deep into this, but look at where the dots are placed. If we draw a line between some of these, that's an E, that can look like an A, and that one in the middle looks like half of an M. And what are those letters aligned to spell? Emma. I think we may have found our message, ladies and gentlemen. Either that, or I'm looking way too deep into this. This message from the deceased is already in our possession. Mr. Wright, will you stop at nothing to prove my sister a murderer? Do not be mistaken, Miss Sky. Our purpose is not to accuse Emma of any crime. There is only one thing we seek, the truth, no matter how painful it may be. Now then, Mr. Wright, please show us the piece of evidence that conveys the message from the deceased. This is the message left by the deceased. This is that blue badger from before, right? No, was he just going to speak the killer's name? If that thing could, I'm sure it would. Looks like everyone's forgotten this is just a jar. A message was left here, on the surface of this jar. What do you mean? If you look closely, you can see a faint trail of blood on this jar. It looks like someone wiped the blood away. Yes, but notice, for some reason, the blood on some of the fragments was not wiped away. Yes, there was a line here, drawn in blood. So what you're saying is that these dots were once lines. Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used a few precious moments left to him to leave behind a message. One that someone apparently wiped away, but blood must have seeped into the jar where the lines changed directions. Precisely so. All we need to do is connect these points, and the victim's message will become apparent. No! She knows. Mr. Wright, what kind of message did the victim leave for us? Your Honor, I believe these blessings will reveal to us the answer. I've got to connect these dots to make clear. There's only one thing the victim would have written given the circumstances, his murderer's name. Okay. So, How do we do this? Do we just click it and then... Okay. Click it and then drag. There's the top one. This goes here. This goes here. Do I have to connect this? No, I don't. Okay, that stands to reason. This can go here. This goes here. And then this... Can I just go all the way to the top? Yes, I can. And then this forms an A. And I probably need to cross the middle, too. Boom! It's a defense attorney's duty to prove their client's innocent. That's why all I've been thinking about is saving Lena. After all my efforts, I never thought it would turn out like this. Emma. So this is the final message Prosecutor Marshall left behind. Of all people, she may not have meant it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life was Emma Skye. Seaworthy, can't say I didn't warn you. Chief Garnet, you understand the implications of what you've done? What? What are you talking about? 2 years ago, Joe Dirk was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in the case, were you not? Ah! Yes, Worthy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Not only that, but you used forged evidence to ensure his conviction. But Joe Dark really was a serial murderer. That is undeniable. I'm afraid that's not important. Didn't you know? We aren't defenders of justice. What? We're merely keepers of the law. Sentencing a man to death is no light matter, even if there wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery. Ultimately, the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. Despite what anyone may say, this fact cannot be denied.
What's going on in the prosecutor's office? They might have sent an innocent man to his death. How can he just stand there like it wasn't his fault?
Order! 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 The gavel's pounding fell on deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess. Where this trial is headed, no one knows. Yikers, I need that music right now, please. I was so right. I was so right. That's such a smart conclusion. But it's also really freaking terrible. Because now Emma is set up to be declared guilty. There's so much that we have to do in the trial ladder. Okay. This is gonna be one hell of a finale. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for next time. I hope to catch you all tomorrow for some more Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Goodbye.